With the opening of the Project Pride, we invite you to travel together with us through cities and countries of the world to meet Kazakhstan people there, learn more about their life. We will go on a visit, we will plunge into their work, we will walk to their favorite corners of the cities they live in. But the main thing is that we set out on a journey to be inspired by their success. After all, the heroes of our program are bright and interesting people, and every story, every acquaintance is a swirl of impressions.
In today's program, Yerzhan Kulibayev, Kuy as encore. Hello, this is Pride, and we're opening a new season in Madrid, where we met with Yerzhan Kulibayev, the virtuoso violinist, the world-famous soloist, professor undoubtedly is one of the so-called people of the world. I don't know whether the residents of Madrid would set up a meeting near Statue of the Bear and a strawberry tree, but for the tourists it is the most convenient place. Since we're tourists, today we're having a very interesting meeting. Let me introduce Yerzhan Kulibayev, and we will see Madrid through his eyes. Hello everyone. Shall we go for a walk? Yes. Yerzhan Kulibayev was born on September 21st, 1986 in Almaty. At the age of 6, he started studying at the Kalashbay seat of a specialized music boarding school for gifted children. Then he was accepted to the Central Music School under the Tchaikovsky Moscow State Conservatory. Starting from 2004, he continued his studies in the class of Professor Zahar Bron in the Reina Sofia School of Music in Madrid. He is the winner of the 5 highest awards at the international competitions, including the Medov International Violin Competition, first prize 2003. International Violin Competition in Lisbon, first prize and special prize for the best performance of Grass in 2006. International Violin Competition in Novosibirsk, the first prize and special prize of Palome Oshie, 2007. Paul Hindemith Competition in Berlin, first prize and special award for the best performance of Schumann, 2010. Violin Competition in Buenos Aires, the first prize and tango prize for the best performance of the Argentine Tango, 2012. In 2011, he has become a laureate at the 14th Henryk Wieniawski International Violin Competition in Poznan, special prize of the student jury, special prize violin of Italian master Giovanni Battista Guadagnini. He has performed in several dozens of countries and worked with famous conductors such as Ashkenazy, Tuchmal, Kirajiv, Muhadinov, Payare, Posada, Raisky, Salvarovsky, Strugava, Vengerov, Wojciechowski. He has also performed with many leading world orchestras. Yerzhan Kulibayev is one of the 100 new faces of Kazakhstan. So we met in a city where Yerzhan Kulibayev has studied and where right now he's a professor. His life and work are connected with Madrid, although the work of a great artist does not have a certain location. It was not easy to find time for the meeting, but Yerzhan agreed to take part in the Kazakhstan's television project. So let's have a look at Madrid through the eyes of the artist, and at the same time learn more about him. This square is interesting because during the New Year it gathers incredible number of people. And you see the tower with the clock. It has a ball. If you can see, it goes down at 12 in the night. And with every sound of the bell, the Spaniards eat one grape. That's a tradition. While eating a grape, they make a wish. That wish will come true. So they eat 12 grapes in 1 minute? No, not in a minute. Less? You know that clock beats pretty fast. You need to practice before you do it. Have you done it? I make a wish every year. And they come true? Yerzhan does not talk a lot about his dreams. He does not disclose his secrets. But still, he seems like a person who believes in traditions and science. According to him, some wishes require great efforts, while others need to be forgotten for a while, and then they will come true. Therefore, just in case, we'll visit one more place where we can make a wish. From Puerta del Sol, the kilometer zero of all Spanish roads, we went around the city while chatting about life, career, music, connections with Kazakhstan, as well as future plans and what is happening around. This is a historical center. Old city. Right now we're approaching Plaza Mayor, which means the main square. It is very beautiful from an architectural point of view, and it's very popular among tourists. There are always a lot of people, and sometimes concerts and cultural events are organized on the square. Today is a weekend, right? Something happens all the time, it's very crowded. Yes, this is typical. When all the Spaniards have the deserved day off, they walk around. It is undoubtedly a great pleasure to see the city through the eyes of the man who knows every quarter and has been studying it for many years. After all, local residents sometimes do not notice some things, but as a tourist, you notice a lot, and here we have a great guide. We even visited the abandoned metro station, which now is a museum under the ground and has its legends and stories. Seems like this one. That station? Yeah, the next one. Judging by your skeptical remarks, you can say that you do not believe in ghosts. You know, I have a lot of friends who believe in them and who talk about their personal experience, so I do not even know what to say. So you don't have an experience in that regard? No, me too. We're lucky. Are you ready to see unexpected and unexplained? We're ready for anything, especially with those people. If you have been here several times, then everything is fine. Here's the most interesting thing, that you can see the design of those years. Well, judging by the clothes of the cardboard people, we can say that it was done in the 40s. Well, in fact, there should be ghosts. So, look carefully. The best light bulb in the world. It is a historical advertisement, I would say. Terrific. This is a really interesting place. However, no matter how interesting the city is, our hero and his fate are much more interesting. Yerzhan came to Madrid when he was still a teenager, and that is the place where he grew as a person. The past 14 years were not only about the tourist side. Oh no, 10 years of studying at this school were about intense work. When I had to learn a lot and professors were strict, what were the methods of teaching? I started with Zahar Braun, who is very, very demanding, who wants everything to be done perfectly. He does not forgive mistakes, very strict with students. That's why I liked it very much. I wanted to learn everything from him, so I worked hard for 10 years.
Старательно учился все 10 лет.
Queen Sofia High School of Music, am I right? Yes, absolutely. Your alma mater? Right. And what do you feel when you walk by? I have mixed feelings. Mostly good feelings. 95%. Here is the top luxury concert hall, but it is small. It also has organ. I played a lot of concerts there. We decided not to go to the music school we had started for many years, especially since it's not easy to get there, and nevertheless, those days were about the music. Of course, the most interesting conversations with a musician are about music, right? We're now approaching the Royal Palace. For me, this palace is interesting only because it has 4 instruments of Antonio Stradivari. This is a quartet, which in turn is unique because Stradivari has it encrusted with the patterns. He drew patterns by himself. Those art objects have triple value. First, it is the instrument of Stradivarius. Secondly, Stradivari acted also as an artist while creating them. And the third is that it is the inlaid instrument. We have only 5 or 6 of them. And 4 of them are stored here. Professional quartets play them sometimes. Well, since talking about Stradivari, I want to ask about your violin. Do you also have Stradivari? You know, some time ago I took a firm decision not to answer this question. Yes, a few years ago, during our first meeting at the Kurmangazi Conservatory in Almaty, we also talked about that topic. The violinist did not answer back then as well. Kulibayev believes that the skill is more important than the instrument. Since I started teaching, I realized that this is very important to explain students at the very beginning of their creative path that the instrument is not everything, right? I always have to make obvious examples, like a car. It all depends on who controls it. Even a very good car can be smashed if the pilot is inexperienced. Do you agree? The same thing with a violin.
Yerzhan Kulibayev.
I meant something different. I realize that the instrument is not the most important thing, that the most important is skill, diligence, perseverance, and talent. But the fact that you literally touch a legend, does it give you a special feeling? You know, at some point, this can hinder. By the way, I had such experience when I studied in Salzburg during 2 years of postgraduate studies.
Мне нужно было оплачивать самому.
I needed to pay for my entire study.
У меня не было стипендий.
Parents did not help me, I did not have a scholarship, and at some point I had to work part-time. I found a very interesting option.
Раз в неделю примерно.
Once a week, about,
Моцартеума.
we students of Mozarteum, guitarists, and 2 violinists were going to the Danube and used to play on a very
У нас был.
luxurious cruise liner.
Чтобы вы понимали, это такой отель, 5-звездочный отель, но на реке.
It was a hotel, a 5-star hotel, but floating on the river.
И у нас был роскошный.
And we had a top expensive dinner in the luxury style, and then the concert. You know what that was students' dream.
И так как по
And under the terms of the contract I could not play my violin, I asked organizers for a very cheap violin.
буквально спичечный коробок с.
Literally a matchbox with strings, a very cheap instrument.
И
And, you know,
знаете, всегда у нас были.
we received standing ovations every time after our performance. We were always told that we sounded perfectly.
Никто никогда не.
At that moment I understood, just once again, that the instrument is absolutely not important.
Я играл.
I was playing on a matchbox and people applauded. Do you get what I am saying?
Браво, я готова.
Bravo, I'm ready to applaud you now. Now, apart from concerts, tours and work on new projects, Yerzhan teaches. His students are young but promising musicians. For them, the opportunity to learn from Kulibayev is a chance for growth and improvement. Nothing will stop them from attending the class.
Тарадам, пам, no? No? No, y vibrato? Eso.
A couple of days in Madrid with Yerzhan Kulibayev made me his real fan. It is impossible not to be impressed by his virtuosic play, as well his intelligence and character. Such person is always a great interlocutor. How did you move to Spain? How did it start? My teacher,
Захар Брон, он пригласил меня учиться.
Zahar Braun, invited me to study here at the Royal School of Music, the Queen Sofia Higher School of Music.
Да, она здесь недалеко в центре находится, рядом с.
It is near in the center, right next to the Opera House.
Вот и так.
It's been 14 years since I... That's quite a lot. Yes. You probably feel like a Spaniard in some ways.
Не знаю, это трудно.
I don't know. It is a difficult question.
Я себя, если
I honestly do not feel myself as anyone in that sense.
человек, который
Just a person
живет в Мадриде,
who lives in Madrid.
не знаю,
I don't know.
не знаю даже не.
I cannot call myself a Kazakh as well because I studied in Moscow for 5 years and then I lived outside of Kazakhstan for more than half of my life.
Это когда
Therefore, when I come to Kazakhstan, I feel like a foreigner. But here, I do not feel myself as a Spaniard too. Neither here or there. In many aspects, Yerzhan stays Kazakh. In particular, he contributed to the popularization of Kazakh folklore, making several interesting musical adaptations, and continues doing so.
Кто вот ваш любимый?
Who's your favorite composer?
Большим удовольствием.
What do you play with the greatest pleasure?
это такой хитрый вопрос.
This is a tricky question for all musicians.
Я всегда говорю, что
I always say
именно тот композитор
that the composer I'm playing at the moment
любимый.
is my favorite. This is the right answer for many reasons. Professionals should not have favorite composers.
Я не верю верю в такой ответ.
Well, I do not believe in that answer. I think that somewhere deep in your soul you have favorite ones, even if that contradicts with the professional rules, etiquette, or something else.
Я же сказал, это просто правильный ответ.
Yes, I said that this is just the right answer, so universal. In fact, in general, you know,
Знаете,
I like the music of Piazzolla, although, of course, I have to say I like Bach. I must also say that I really like Beethoven,
Бетховен.
but
Но Пьяццола,
my choice of Piazzolla might seem corny. But who does not like Piazzolla, right? But I just study. I listen to his rare records of tangos that very few people know.
который очень редко, мало кто знает.
Well, everyone knows Adios Nonino,
Все знают.
Libertango, and there are such tangos as Whiskey,
Или там
Midnight,
Полночь. И много таких эскуала,
Esqualo, or
или, например, есть такой танго «Одиночество».
there's, for example, a tango, Soledad, Loneliness. I'm amazed by his ability to catch the spirit, even with the title.
Название.
The musical adaptations of Piazzolla written by Yerzhan instantly became popular among performers. Many of them are willing to get them because the audience will be excited for sure.
То есть идти на поводу.
So you cannot let the audience decide the repertoire. No, I can't.
Я буду играть только...
Because then I will only play Piazzolla and Tchaikovsky, right? Even though I love these composers, I cannot play them all my life.
Вот. Кстати, в Казахстане...
By the way, Kazakhstan follows that trend right now. There is a tendency to play Piazzolla a lot.
Потому что как раз
Yes, he's very popular. Well, probably because people like him a lot.
Чувствую, что я тоже...
Yes, I feel that I have contributed to that as well. Have put a lot of effort.
Потому что постоянно так получилось, что я играю...
I always played my adaptations of Piazzolla as encore. Every time I come to Kazakhstan, I play a concert, for example, Brahms or Glazunov. Right now, I play Beethoven, Bruch, and I play Piazzolla as encore. I understand that gradually it is necessary to stop it. It turned out that Kazakh national music goes well as encore, not only in Kazakhstan.
Или, например,
Or, for example,
никто не...
no one is playing Kui as encore.
обработку.
No one makes the new musical adaptations, I mean the Kazakh Kui. Because of Piazzolla, the big part of our music is left out of attention.
есть такие кьюи, которые...
Are there any cues that will be great as encore? Because it needs to be something that hits right away, then win-win case.
Знаете, самая моя первая...
Yes, you know, my very first adaptation was a legend about Dombra by Nagim Mendigaliyev. It became so successful, everyone asks me for musical notes, including Ayman Musahodjayeva and others.
Просят у меня все. Начиная от Аймана Мусахаджаева и заканчивая всеми... Меня просто их просят. Да, а я не хочу давать.
And I do not want to give them, for several reasons.
Мне часто пишут, хотят...
Conservatory professors often write to me. They want to publish it in Kazakhstan for students for competitions. I will not give it yet, because firstly, I need to bring it to the final version when I'm sure that it sounds exactly the way it should.
Для того, чтобы ее издать.
So then it can be published. Because from the early ages, when I just started playing the violin, all the relatives kept asking me if I can play something Kazakh. They used to ask, can you play Kui? No problem, right? You play Kurmangazi?
Хурмангазой найсенба. Знаете, все время так спрашивали, и наконец...
You know, they used to ask that all the time. And finally, with this adaptation, I managed to show that I am a great Dombra player.
Затем я сделал еще...
Then I made another adaptation, Kurmangazi's Kui Saryarka. I did not play it much.
Я ее не так много играл, где-то всего 2 раза, по-моему,
Only twice, I think,
в Астане.
in Karaganda and once in Astana.
Я думаю, что над этой пьесой мне еще нужно
I think that I still need to work on that.
именно в...
I mean, in terms of adaptation. Judging by my experience, I understand that after the initial adaptation, I need more time and even play it on stage to understand what is really working and what is not. What part should be replaced? Find another solution, and that is why I do not want to give it to anyone. The legend of Dombra, I mean. What if I find another solution in a couple of years, right? Well, it can be improve endlessly. No, there will be a moment when I say yes. I already know. I will say yes, it is ready. In the sense of philosophy, Yerzhan Kulibayev's play is only being written, and he still has a lot of time to finish it. The musician is young, he's only 31, and with all his integrity and maturity, our hero still has a lot to see and do. Tours and performances continue, new ideas arise as well as the ways for their implementation. Quartet, which Yerzhan gathered not so long ago, still rehearses, getting ready for the famous scenes and large halls. What will be included in the repertoire? Piazzolla and Beethoven, that's for sure, but the other details are still kept in a secret. As a musician, Yerzhan seeks new forms and ways for development, no matter what he does. In general, it seems to me that the majority of people have a stereotype that classical music is so limited, that it has so many rules. Does the classical musician have the opportunity for some kind of creative experiment? You know, I agree with both points of view at the same time. There are people who say that the best pieces were already written. On the one hand, it is the truth. At the same time, there are talented musicians and composers who write now. And they do not give up. They continue to search for something new. They are right as well, and many of them manage to find something really interesting, important. That is a very complex topic. I cannot say whether it is bad or good. I think that classical music will evolve. I think that the music will still be written. There will still be a lot of composers, but it will not be the usual music. Right now it is already difficult to understand the modern techniques of composer. Another thing seems to me that the system of airtime has reached its limits. I think that in order to continue to evolve, we need to invent a new musical notation system. Is it possible? Well, it is like to come up with another language, for example, Esperanto, right? It was invented by people. A different music notation system will expand the possibilities of music. For example, now I'm working on a piece which involves microchromatisms. Explaining the higher musical science to a person like me turned out to be a difficult thing. You don't understand. However, the details we were talking about are not for a wide audience, the same as classical music, which is not understandable and close to everyone. I think that the audience is not ready for the music in most cases, like 80%, because to listen to music and understand it, you need to know the biography of the composer. You need to know what he faced during his life, what difficulties he had, what goals he pursued. I'm saying that as a teacher. That's how I explain to my students how to study the works. Well, it seems to me that the ideal listener will know all these things. And when I play that sonnet or violin concert, then I will speak with a listener who will already understand me. Each of us wants to be understood and know that all his efforts were not in vain. And I think that for Yerzhan Kulibayev, in addition to a lot of victories and awards, innovation is also a well-deserved prize. And saying goodbye to our unique guide, interesting interlocutor, and attentive mentor in musical matters, I would like to wish him not only new successful adaptations, but also standing ovations always and everywhere. And the Pride program goes further to tell you about our people, the ones who easily become local in any country in the world, but remain one of Kazakh people at the same time.